couple of months back, Dutch authorities said that loot boxes in some high-profile games constituted gambling, at least in the Netherlands. Well, it turns out the Dutch authorities are deadly serious about that, as Dutch Steam users have just found out.
CSGO and Dota 2 players in the Netherlands have just been told that item trading and Steam Marketplace transfers for both games have been pulled from Steam. Valve issued a note to players after the Dutch Gaming Authority threatened to prosecute video game companies which fail to alter or remove loot boxes from their games by June the 20th. The Dutch authorities said back in April that of the 10 loot box systems it looked at, 4 games broke the Betting and Gaming Act in the Netherlands. Ironically enough, the investigation was prompted after the backlash to Star Wars Battlefront 2's loot boxes, but that game was found to be okay. EA never actually charged for the loot boxes, thanks to the uproar. The Dutch Gaming Authority has just put out a press release saying that it would be checking up on video games and the loot boxes as of June 20th. Valve apparently received 2 letters from the Dutch Gaming Authority declaring that both CSGO and Dota 2 had loot boxes that contravened Dutch gambling law. The authorities warned that it can place fines of over €800,000 or 10% of the company's worldwide turnover if it turns out they still have loot box systems that constitute gambling.
Now, while Valve said it does disagree with the Dutch authorities' position, it was left with no choice but to pull item trading and transfers for the time being at least. Here's some of what they told Steam users. Quote, "We still don't understand or agree with the Kansspel Autoriteit's legal conclusion, and we've responded to explain more about CSGO and Dota 2. For now, our only practical alternative is to disable trading and Steam Marketplace transfers for CSGO and Dota 2 items for Dutch customers. The Netherlands is so far the only country to impose strict measures against loot boxes." My apologies for that horrendous Dutch pronunciation there.
Can't spell it or can't say it either.
Yeah, can't say it either. Very good. This is something that Steam and Valve seem to be fighting at the moment. Reading the note that they sent players, it does read like they've got like specific Dutch legal counsel to have a look at what the legal situation is there and stuff. And they seem to be baffled by why this has been done, why this has been imposed by the Dutch authorities. So they're very much pro keeping the loot boxes in and keeping the item, so keeping all that stuff in there. And the only solution, it seems to be to disable it for now. And it reads a little bit like it's a temporary solution, but who knows how this is going to pan out. And this is the first kind of high-profile instance of a government or authority just kind of saying, no, you can't do this, issuing a strict deadline, and then once the deadline arrives, really just saying you've got to do something about it, and they're going to be checking up on companies from now on.
So what they've done is they've restricted the ability to trade between accounts, only in Holland as well. So it doesn't affect anybody else as of yet. It's that trading of items between accounts that makes it gambling according to the Dutch authorities.
Takes the cash value away by disabling it, right?
There's no exactly. And for my money, this is exactly what they should do. This is where it turns grey, and it allows people to profit off of buying loot boxes. Because if you get like a really rare item, like playing with it in your game is one thing, but being able to sell it at a huge profit is where the gambling bit comes in, and that's where the distinction comes in for the Dutch Gaming Authority. This is why Steam have had to, and it gives rise to websites like CSGO Lotto. Those websites that try and scam you. That's a different story, but it's like it's this whole economy that's generated out of the fact just because you can trade these items between accounts. Now, clamping down on it, that's good for me. This is people scaremongering saying that don't get governments involved in our games because they'll end up like being really restrictive. Well, no, because here, for my money, they're doing really well. So let's just focus on what this is. This is a result for people who are against loot boxes, against gambling loot boxes. Situation is still developing. This is only just half the press a few hours ago, so we'll see where it goes from here.
The Dutch Gaming Authority actually released a press release as well, as we said in the voiceover, just to kind of explain what the situation is now that the deadline has arrived. That very much reads like, no one wants kids to gamble, right? We're just doing something about it. And they seem completely convinced of what they're doing, and at the same time Valve seem convinced that they're doing the wrong thing. So that there's two kind of butting of heads here, and this is a battle at the moment, it's not a done thing, and Valve will certainly have, Valve could lose a lot of money, so they're gonna have something to say about it for sure. So we'll have to keep an eye on how this pans out, and if it has ripple effects elsewhere, who knows? Are the Dutch Gaming Authorities right to do this? Are they right to put this kind of ban in place, or Valve got a point? Are Valve the ones who are actually talking a bit of sense? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. It's a bit of a complicated issue. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Another video right there which you can watch right now if you want, and a link to Patreon if you do want to support the channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.